It's not a surprise that Atomic War can produce some sad stories, but the Fallout franchise really knew how to express them with key characters. So today, I'll be continuing the countdown, discussing the most heart-wrenching stories Fallout could give us.
There are four major characteristics of an A-bomb or H-bomb explosion. They are blast, heat, initial radiation, and residual radiation, and residual radiation, and residual radiation.
Sometimes I feel stuff tickling me, but I think that's just Bob getting back at me for all the times I called him Herbert.
Most remember him as the Talking Tree, a lonely mutant being worshipped by a community of hooded tree minders in the hidden location of Oasis. But the newer Fallout fan may not be aware of his previous encounters in the earlier games. Harold originally hails from Vault 29, completely human without mutation, but after he exited the vault, he began his wasteland career as a merchant, and soon settled down in the hub. After noticing an increase of mutant animal population, Harold led an expedition to locate the source of the pests. With a group of fellow wanderers, Harold and the adventurers found the mutant source at the Mariposa military base. While most of the other wastelanders were mauled by mutants and Mariposa's leftover security systems, Harold and the remaining group discovered a vast number of goo-filled vats, in which a key member of the expedition was knocked into by a robotic arm. That was Richard Gray, soon to be known as the Master.
All that
resist?
Yes. And all those that are required for the
Unity
as well. The remainder will be allowed to live out their days, but under
Unity, control,
and protection.
But none shall breed, for they will be the last of their race.
I can't leave.
Harold was knocked out cold, but strangely awoke in the middle of the desert, where he was discovered by a caravan who then took him back to the hub. It was then the mutation started. Later, Harold had a new kind of tree growing from his head in which he dubbed Bob. Even though it seemed likely for one to die from the radiation Harold was exposed to, he still lived with the mysterious tree on his head growing bigger.
You cut with the dull edge of the knife, don't you? You don't look like an orange peel left in the sun all day. Your skin's still soft and purty.
So much of Harold's hard story could be said here, it could possibly fill a small book, but let's skip to the Tree Man's most disturbing chapter and possibly the end. During his venture in the northern area of the Capital Wasteland, Harold was finally rooted to the ground by Bob, or the Tree. So here we are with this former vault dweller, merchant, and traveler now trapped and bonded with a mutant tree somewhere in post-war DC. But he was found once again, though this time he wasn't going anywhere. This group of people saw Harold as a beautiful phenomena and revered to him as a god, now with Bob, the tree, blossoming green plant life all around them. This cult called themselves the Tree Minders. Harold was unhappy, of course, and the Tree Minders weren't any help either, especially since they took his obvious cries for help as a test, or godly message. But Harold wasn't completely hopeless. His outreaching plant life allowed him to see beyond the oasis and hopefully have them put an end to his misery. But the Tree Minders cult would mostly drive newcomers away with the supposed healing sap all newcomers had to drink in order to cleanse their bodies. But thankfully, the lone wanderer has the chance to meet with Harold face to face. He tells him of the excruciating decades he's had to spend with these people, never listening to what he truly asked for, a merciful death.
Oh, no. Fire would be too painful for me and poor old Bob. You keep that stuff away from us.
You can listen to Harold explain his story about the military base from long ago, and how the mutation slowly grew with him in a more broken fashion due to his old age. He tells the lone wanderer to end his misery by venturing into the caves below and destroying his heart. Though if that isn't how you want to carry out Harold's request, the cult's leader and his wife have different plans for him. Tree Father Birch will request that you dose Harold's heart with a sap that will remain Harold's growth within the confines of the oasis, while his wife wants the exact opposite. She requests that you use a sap that will allow Harold to sprout across the wasteland, providing plant life and trees for everyone. If Tree Father Birch's wife has her request fulfilled, Harold will have a happy outcome in the end, and he explains that he has a purpose in life again, and that he felt selfish to request his demise. So it looks like whether you killed him or kept him alive, Harold's legacy ended during the events of Fallout 3, but even while playing New Vegas in the soon-to-come Fallout 4, his jolly way of keeping spirits up in the worst of times will be missed.
More skin! Need more skin!
What happened? Drop your sense of humor in the dust on the way into town?